Hello, everyone. Welcome to Heart Center Tarot. As always, my name is Marina, and I will be your guide for this portion of the journey. And help me welcome Cleo the Seer, my
Hi.
wonderful co host for Kitchen Table Issues.
Yes.
Yay! Where do we start? Where do we start? The insanity just keeps revealing itself over and over and over again. And it's like, just when you think that I can't possibly shake my head anymore, there's another piece of news and you go, oh, shit, come on. So
And it just
how
gets so ridiculous.
it does. It does. So how have you been? What have you been up to?
Um, I haven't been doing as much on YouTube, so I've actually gotten kind of involved in some other activities that don't include the psychics of YouTube. But
Uh-huh.
you know, um, I've kind of needed a little break, and I have taken quite a bit of a break. So, uh, but in general, this week and next week, I have actually happened to be pretty busy for me. Let's see if I've got
Oh,
the right
nice.
book. I can tell you as soon as I find the right page. Where is it? No, we're done with April. Let's see here. I should have had this already laid out, but I didn't.
Well, it will be noted on your
There we
performance review. I'm
go.
just
Okay,
saying.
so
You missed it. Totally missed it.
so on Wednesday, I will be doing polyterology with my sister Colleen, the Cool Crone, but I won't really be on. I'll be in backstage working with her, and so we've been working on that. It's getting better. We're trying to find ways to make equal time for her and for the chatters who have a ton of questions. And
Yes.
I think our new little plan is working out okay.
Yep.
On Thursday, Golden Girls, yay!
Yay!
That's me,
Yay!
Marina, and Sherry. Um,
Yes.
so we'll be doing that on Thursday. And on Friday, it's the Cool Crone Oracle for private readings.
Yes.
And that's 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific. And actually, going right into next Monday, I'm doing the Mystic Four. And then we only do that once a month. So everybody's got to be sure to show up because we got the best
Yes.
readers there. So
Absolutely.
that's what I'm doing.
Absolutely. Perfect. And just going to say hello to everyone who has joined us. There's many of you in here, and I would love to be able to go back and say individual hellos, but we're sitting at 53 people, and yeah, I would spend half the night saying hello. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Okay, I do have Cleo's channel listed in the description, so make sure that you stop by her channel and do the same thing. And I will remind you again to double check your subscriptions because, again, YouTube does this fairly regularly. I don't know what metrics they use or how they decide. But I've heard from several people who have been subscribed to my channel for quite some time who have said, I didn't get any notices, and when I checked, I was unsubscribed. So, yeah, just make sure that you go in, just double check. And yeah, do that for your favorite readers and all that good stuff. If you're interested in booking a private reading, reach out. Yeah, you do private readings as well, don't you, Cleo?
No, I know I don't.
No. Okay.
I'm not set up for it, and so I don't do that. But
Okay.
today, we're doing well. Kitchen Table Issues is all about politics, So
Yes.
are the chatters going to be asking questions too? Do we take quick
You
questions
know
from
what?
that?
Yeah, we'll discuss what kind of what I've got here, but yeah, if you guys have political questions that you want us to take a look at, yeah, by all means,
Or
put it
comment?
in. Yeah, put it in
Questions
all
or comments?
caps. Yeah, that way it gets my attention.
Because
And
there's
yeah,
so much
well,
stuff. There's so much stuff.
I
And
know.
so, if anything you guys want to mention would be great because
Yes,
like Marina was saying, where do we start? Oh, God, it should be like a
exactly.
lottery. Dig into the bowl and pull out the question. I mean, there's so much stuff going on.
Yeah.
Plus, I love the comments from the chatters because I learn more
Yes.
from you guys than I do from trying to watch the news.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, Innocent Potato said, yeah, lots of other tarot readers are having the same problem. Yes, with people being unsubscribed, totally.
Oh,
And yeah, Kathleen Bourgeois says, all my notifications changed to personal again. Yeah. So like I say, I don't know what metric they use. If I ever find out what it is, I'll make sure to yeah, to let you guys know so that you can keep up with it. But yeah, for now, just double check. I do the same thing. Every once in a while, I'll take some time. And usually it's late at evening, when it's nice and quiet, and I'll go through and make sure that I am subscribed where I want to be subscribed. I've also found that all of a sudden I was subscribed to channels that I'd never heard of before. Yeah. So, like, really? Yeah. So, and yes, if you're interested in booking a reading, you can, yeah, send me an email, heartcentertarot@outlook.com, or visit the website, which is marinasheartcentertarot.com. So there's that. All righty. So let's get the show started.
yeah.
On Wednesday, on the 7th, oh, Lisa, okay, let me put that in there, is when the Cardinals are going to be sequestered in the Sistine Chapel. No TV, no newspapers, no radios, no cell phones, no communication, whatever, until such time as they elect a new pope. This is whether you are a Catholic, whether you believe in the teachings of the Catholic Church or whatnot, electing a new pope is something that is sacred. Well, guess who posted a picture of himself dressed in the Pope's robes with the hat? Really?
Yeah. I mean,
Really?
when I first saw it, I blew a gasket. And then I thought, calm down. This guy is just such a complete idiot. He's just digging himself in deeper and deeper. He is just insulted. I think just about everybody, I mean, you don't have to be Catholic to have total respect for the Pope. I mean,
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
not Catholic, but the Pope is a big deal to me. And
Pope Dementia the first. Thank you, Mark. Yes. Yeah.
yeah, so it's just craziness. And then he came out and they asked him something about who do you think the next Pope will be? I think is generally what they were asking.
Yes.
And he goes, well, I'd like to be Pope. Yeah, I think I should be Pope. That would be my choice. And they're looking around like, what in the world are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like a Pope is an elected official. Like that.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
No, it doesn't work like that. And so, and then finally he said something like, "Oh yeah, I don't know. I don't know who's running or whatever he said. It was just so stupid." And
Yes.
and then
Yeah.
they come out
It's
with
not a popularity contest. It's something that is very very serious.
Very,
You know.
very serious. I mean, the world looks to the Pope for
Yes.
spiritual guidance. Um,
Yes.
so yeah, Trump is just a complete idiot. And um,
Yeah.
when he did that, I was just so disgusted, so
Yes.
disgusted. I mean, you talk about make us look. People are the world is looking at us already with these tariffs and stuff. Like, what happened to you? And then when he does this thing with the Pope, they're like, "Oh God, we
Yeah.
thought we hated you before. Now we totally hate you." And
Yeah.
so
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
it
Exactly.
reflects on the whole country. It reflects on all of us that we allowed this fool to run our country
Yes.
and to do the things he's doing. So
Yeah.
any Catholic that votes for him needs to check themselves and their beliefs. I am a Catholic, and
Exactly.
it is so disgusting.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm
Absolutely.
sure that
It
other Catholics, even if they did vote for him, are regretting it now. And even
is. Yeah.
before, because I've just been hearing lately a lot of people with 401ks and stuff are losing money,
Of
you
course
know?
they are. And it's not going to get better. It's going to get worse. And once it starts affecting them personally and they realize how underwater they're going to be, um then they're actually going to do something about it. And
Somebody
yeah,
just somebody just
201k.
Somebody just wrote here that popes are typically priests coming with vows of celibacy and obedience prior to becoming pope. Well, the celibacy thing, you mean they don't allow rapists?
Apparently not.
Wow,
Now,
they
listen.
don't have a rapist in there. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I
I guess
will
you couldn't do it.
I will take issues with some of the things that the Catholic Church has done over the years, and it is like any organization. You're going to find people that act according to the tenets of the organization, and then there are those who simply ignore it, and they're in there for their own self gratification. So I do understand that. Yeah, the Catholic Church isn't the most sin free organization out there. It's still, it's kind of like, um, Trump can get out there and he can make fun of people. He can say all kinds of ridiculous things, but he demands that the office of the president be respected. It's the same thing with the Catholic Church. You may not agree with everything that they do and everything that they believe, but respect the position, right?
Absolutely.
So yeah, that is, I just think that is awful on so many levels. That is awful, and he could be Pope. You know what? I think like maybe someone should ask him, well, okay, let's see if you qualify. Complete this sentence. In the beginning, in the beginning, I don't know, in the beginning, McDonald's opened up. Like, yeah, yes. So yeah, he just wants to be,
Well, he
and I've
thinks
said this
he
before.
controls it all. He does. He thinks he controls it all. Jane here asked a question. It's a little bit off topic of Trump. Thank God. Is it safe to fly right now? Things are getting worse for air traffic control. You know what? Be careful.
Yeah,
They're having a hard time keeping control of things because yes, they don't
yeah,
have enough air traffic controllers, but they don't have enough people uh,
yes,
to run the airlines properly. That's my guess in reality of what's going on. Spiritually,
yeah.
I'm thinking if it was me, I would never get on a plane right now. But that's just me. I wouldn't get on a plane anyway. I'm not somebody that goes flying around. I don't like
You're,
it. But
you're not a good flyer.
no,
I think I think that I would be cautious if I had to fly. I think that I would be cautious, and I would possibly look for alternatives to getting to where I needed to go. You want to pull it? Shall we pull a couple cards?
yeah, I was
Is
just
it safe?
remembering. I'm not
Yeah.
generally a big card reader, but when it comes to something like this, I like to give it a shot. So yeah, let's do that.
Yep. Oh, Linda Miville says the Leafs are winning. Yay! That, yeah. I'll tell you a quick joke here in a second, but okay. Um, is it safe to fly? I would be cautious. I would be cautious for the foreseeable future. I get the moon, um, and I also get the tower. So yeah, just follow your instinct. Okay, best thing to do. Follow your instinct, and if you have the leisure of time, maybe consider train travel, and maybe consider um, yeah, staying closer to home. Yeah, or drive. Yeah.
So everything I got was upside down. I'm not big on upside down readings at all, but this just tells me that for one thing, it is temporary,
Yes.
but also it's precarious. It's risky. I mean, I know they're doing all they can to try to make it safe, but there was one airport that they are declining certain flights in because they just don't have the capacity to control their air. They don't have enough air traffic controllers
Yes.
and other kinds of employees. So um, I say this is going to be fixed eventually,
Yeah.
but probably not this month. So if you can put your trip
Yeah.
off for a little bit, that would probably be a good idea. It's just not. Oh God, I do see some accidents happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe, hopefully, just on the ground kind of accidents, not planes falling from the sky. But
Yes, exactly.
yeah, it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. So be careful. Just like I said, the best thing to do right now is try to avoid those trips. And
Yeah, as much as you can.
yeah,
Absolutely. Because it's and someone had mentioned that, yeah, flying in Canada is safer. I do believe that flying in Canada is safer than flying in the US. However, there are players in the game who they might have like what happened recently, and I can't remember the country, where all of a sudden their air traffic controllers just lost sight of all the planes. It was only temporary, but it's still
it
right.
happens. Yeah.
Yeah, it excuse me, it happens. So
Okay. So some of the other questions here about. Boy, I am getting some goofy cards. Where was this? Back up here. Hold on here a minute. Where they were talking about everybody wants to know when is this mess going to end? That because they want to take flights, they want to quit worrying about the 401ks. They do, it is going to end, and I believe it's going to end this year. However, turning all of this mess around is going to take some time. I think that
exactly, you can't. This is this is a ship in the middle of the ocean that is doing a particular speed. If it sees an iceberg, it can do its very best to turn around, but it's not going to turn on a dime. It's going to take a little bit. So yes, things will get better.
And Trump
yeah.
Trump will be taken, he will be either removed, or one way or another, he will be out of the White House. And it will not be, in my opinion, and from what I get from my spirit guides, it will not be taken over by Vance, or actually any of those higher up Republicans, the Speaker of the House, any of that. No, I don't see that happening. I'm sorry, still see it as Kamala. And I know that it's like, how could that possibly be? Well, you see what's been going on since January. How could any of this possibly be?
Yes.
It's so different and so weird what is going on here. And I think that there's people working in the background right as we speak that is trying to figure out how to approach this. And I do think that Trump will be found guilty of treason, and that will be the main way that he gets out of there. I know there's other people talking about the election results, that those were incorrect. So it's just well, you'll see a lot more happening this summer. And so when we're talking about travel and stuff, that's why I'm saying try to put things off, because that's going to change too. A lot of these federal employees will get their jobs back, but a lot of them will just say, hey, forget it. I'm not going through this again. And we'll get things back in order, but it's just going to take some time and effort. And the first thing we want to do is see Trump no longer ruling the world.
Exactly.
And that will happen again. I really think before the end of the year that we will know that that's going to happen. The transition, though, of who's coming in and even getting the other people out, I'm sure he'll make a big fight out of this whole thing. And some people are predicting, well, maybe he gets sick or something. I've never really seen that. I mean, I think he's already sick, and that hasn't stopped him.
No.
So, but it's the time-wise, when is this going to happen? You just got to be more patient.
It'll happen when it's meant to happen, right? Exactly. Like Arthur says, when is the cake done? When it's done.
So it should be, and that's what he says. When is the cake done?
When it's done. And Lisa P73 says, could you look into the land grabs Dumpy and the military are doing at the southern border? It is now going through a reservation, and they are pushing out the people that live in these areas. That is a lawsuit. Yes, he is. He's trying to create a militarized zone. However, let's not forget that there are land treaties that are there with the indigenous people, and you can't just go in and seize it. Now he could certainly try, but I think he's doing all these things to start getting people to react, to do the knee-jerk thing, so that he can then declare a state of emergency, and then he could, get a little more military involvement. So yes, they might be pushing people out, but it's not going to
it's not going to work in the long run.
No.
But it is going to be chaos for a while. Just like everything else that's going on with him. It's chaotic, it's illegal. The Supreme Court, nobody seems to have any control over him. Congress is not able to, so far, doing,
Yes.
doing
Yeah.
things to turn this around. However, I see eventually, I don't have a timeline on it, but eventually somebody else comes in who happens to be a queen, who happens to be a female,
Uh-huh.
and working with a VP that would be very
Mhm.
helpful too. And they
Mhm.
are going to work to turn things around. But it's the
Yeah.
timing on this, because they're pretty, what Trump is doing and the way he was moving so fast, you can barely get a chance to digest the first illegal
Yes.
crap he did and do something about that before something else comes up, something else comes up.
Exactly.
And,
Yes.
this thing about seizing the land, I am not particularly familiar with this yet. Of course, I
Oh,
did.
no. Yeah, that Connie B said, yeah, they've been seizing our land since 1492. Yeah, meaning
It's Columbus.
white people come over and they look at the indigenous people and they say, oh yeah, you need to find someplace else to live because I own this. And the indigenous people are going, you don't own land. Nobody owns land. We maintain the land for future generations, but nobody owns it. And anyway, yeah, is this how is this going to work? No,
Well,
people can see that it is a theft, right? You're stealing, you're not being truthful and honest in the things that you're putting out there. The Knight of Cups is the lounge lizard that'll tell you anything that you need to hear in order to get what he wants. It's not going to work. And it's people are going to realize what he's doing more and more. They're realizing what he's doing. So no, I don't think that he's not going to be able to get too much out of that. He can say what he wants. He can sign, an executive order every minute. It doesn't mean that that's law. And it's funny because Lisa had another question. Is the military going to remove him because they need to honor their oath to the Constitution? Entertainment purposes only.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there are people
that will be the group that escorts him out of the White House if it works out that way. But I mean, yes, it has to be military intervention. It can't be police. It can't be anything normal, because there's nothing normal about it. But if it goes the way I think it's going, which is treason, it's the military's job to stop that.
Exactly.
I think there's a lot of generals and higher ups in the military that already know what is going on and are working towards rectifying this problem, but it just takes a little more time than we wish it would happen right now. But we wish it would have happened a month ago.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
It just doesn't work that way. But yes, definitely, I see the military, and I've always seen the military before all of this other crap, before he ever actually stepped in for his so-called second term. I saw the military intervening in this situation.
Absolutely. And Innocent Potato said, Chief Crazy Horse, Lakota tribe said, how can you own the land that the people walk on? And she agrees with the chief. Absolutely. Absolutely. You can't. We are stewards of the land. We're not. It just doesn't make sense. Yeah.
Well, and the Native Americans have always been respectful of the land and respect the whole thing, where modern day people not at all at the same thing. Not at all.
No. exactly. And Mark says, yeah, 14,000 military personnel so far have said that they will follow the Constitution.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's what everybody should be doing, you know. But what Trump's trying to do, God, he's just so out there. He wants to change the Constitution. He wants to manipulate the Constitution so it goes the way he wants it to go. And he's not going to get away with that.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
You know, I'm just so totally disgusted with the Supreme Court, but at some point they have to come to their senses because the whole country is watching what they're doing, and we all know right from wrong. We knew that this broad immunity that they gave to the president is just absolutely ridiculous. They know it now too, and they're a little bit concerned. And I'm kind of thinking they might. I don't know how quickly they might change something like that, but it will change at some point. I would like to see it change while Trump is still around to experience that. But we'll just have. I guess it doesn't really matter. Trump goes above and beyond. He's not controlled by any laws. He doesn't abide by any laws. He's a felon. He's a criminal. He's a con man. I mean, he doesn't. He has no respect for the law. He has no respect for the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
He got there less. He's a dictator.
Exactly. And kind of on the flip side here, Sunny Dale says, hi, Canadian here. Hey, fellow Canadian here as well. Will Mark Carney's Liberal minority government last? The Conservatives, Maple Mega, will try to bring down the government. They can try all they want. I think that the more and more people are realizing just exactly who Pierre Poilievre is. And I'll give you an example. He lost his own seat outside of Ottawa. And so you can't be leader of the official opposition, whatever, if you don't, if you have not been elected to Parliament. So what does Pierre do? He convinces someone in Alberta, a MP in Alberta, who was just reelected to his second term by 82% of the people in his riding. This guy's 6 months away from getting his parliamentary pension. And he has agreed to, quote unquote, give up his seat so that there could be a by-election so that Pierre Poilievre can run in that safe seat. That is sleazy. And I think that, yeah. Oh, Mark Brisbaugh, spoiler alert, Libby just read on PP by-election and said he may be a two-time loser. I certainly hope so. I certainly hope so. So, yeah, I can pull, whoops, cards are going to start coming out of my hand. Is Carney's government going to last? Yes, the Page of Swords. He is doing what he needs to do. The Six of Cups, kind of reminding everyone that we need to bring some of that honesty, integrity, whatever, back into elections. And the Queen of Pentacles, looking after not only the finances, but the health, the wealth, and the values of the country. So, yeah, there you go. And yes, Old Silver, I wonder how much that costs too. So he's not, no, Amanda Carroll, he is not to be trusted. He is Maple Mega. And yeah, he will say whatever he needs to say. And in fact, in 1999, I think he was just in college or university or whatever, and he wrote a piece where he said very clearly that, you know, being in government shouldn't be something that you do for a lifetime, and that he would limit MPs to 2 terms. Right? Okay. Well, he has been in government for 21 years. He's never worked outside of the government. You know, this was his election to lose, and he lost it big time. So, yeah, live up to your own values when you're questioned. Oh, I have not changed my mind about the things that I believe in. Well, if you believe 2 terms, you're past your sell-by date. Bye. Oh, what was that? Hold on. Did you hear the protest groups that added 85 names to PP ballot are trying to add 200 names to the next ballot? Oh, yeah. Let me just get rid of that. Yes, the riding that Pierre Poilievre was running in, usually most ridings, there will be 3, 4, 5 names on the ballot. That's who you're voting for. And where he was running, yes, there was 83 names on the ballot. And he was, you know, like halfway down. So yeah, he's not going to do well. He's not going to do well. Okay.
So the guy that, I know this is a little bit different, but so the guy that was just elected, that was the Mark guy, Mark something?
Mark Carney. Yeah.
And it just seemed to me like once he came in, that this stuff about the 51st state, that the United States taking over and why this would be so wonderful in Trump's mind, it seems to me like he probably kind of put a kibosh on that he just was like, good luck, you know, nobody's doing that. And it was just so ridiculous in the first place. So I'm really glad. I mean, I like this new guy you guys got. I mean, he just seems normal and down to earth and no nonsense. I mean, just please. You know, and I know we're still working on some tough stuff with the tariffs, and that some of the things go back to when Trump was in office the first time, and they had tariffs with Canada, and I think aren't they kind of going back to that now, or
Cleo, it depends on the time of day. Honestly, because it changes, it fluctuates all the time. No, we're doing this. Okay, no, we're putting a pause of 30. No, we're going to do this. Yeah, we're going to wait a couple months. I think that Trump is being schooled on the fact that Canada is a sovereign nation, and we will be respected. So when you say stupid shit like the 51st state, expect that, most Canadians are going to stand up, and they're going to do exactly what Canadians did. They looked around and they said, well, you know what? Politically, I may disagree with you, but we're talking about our country. So we're going to merge. We're going to go forward. It was the Bloc Québécois, the party that runs in Quebec. They gave up their ridings, their seats, to the Liberals to make sure that the Liberals were going to get in. So we were a couple seats short of getting a majority, but we've got a very strong minority. So. And Australia followed suit by re-electing what's his name, Calabrese, whatever. Yeah. So let me hear. Witchy Gardens wants to know, will Trump's followers see the writing on the wall before 2026?
Some already are. Some are, and some important people already are. They just don't know exactly how to handle it because a lot of the people in the Congress and in the Senate are under threat.
Yes.
And so if you notice, they just don't speak out as much as you'd like them to because they are under threat. They're them personally, their families, that Trump will threaten to take them out of, if you're a representative or something, he'll just push you out of the way, which is, of course, not the way it's supposed to work, but it doesn't matter. We're talking about Trump. He does as he pleases. So they have already seen. There is a bunch of people in the House and in the Senate. They've already seen what is happening. They know they know what he's trying to do. They know that he's trying to bring about this authoritarian rule of the United States of America. And it's not going to work, but it's not one of those things where just because if one or two people shows up and says, this is what's going on and this is not right, you won't be seeing anything of them for a while because God knows what will happen to them or their families. And I mean, when you start threatening people's families, then you have a pretty good control, which shows you the kind of authoritarian government that Trump is aiming for. But don't think that just because they're not talking that they don't know. They know what's going on. And I've also heard that there's about a dozen people in there that are working undercover within that government structure. They're collecting evidence. It's almost like the Underground Railway, where all these people, they're getting the word out to their people. And this is just building. So when you see goofy things like Trump acting like he's Pope, that's just another thing. It's another nail in the coffin. It's another mark against him. And these people are definitely paying attention. And the other problem is the Republicans that are blindingly following, they're just following what Trump is doing. They're also under control, but they don't mind it because they're like all for it. Like Marco Rubio. I mean, what in the world is he thinking? So
you know what? I have a strong suspicion that the reason that a lot of these people are falling in line is because they know that their time in government, they have done things that they don't want their constituents to know about. Trump knows those things. And he has basically said to them, and of course, entertainment purposes only, I'm just a tarot reader. You go along with what I'm saying, or this information is going to get out. Will it get out before 2026? I don't know. My feeling has always been that I am not sure that there will be elections in 2026. I think that, and I said this even before he was quote unquote reelected, that the GOP wants power. People are starting to speak up. They're starting to get angry. They want answers and they're not getting the answers. So there's a very good possibility that a lot of those GOP members who are currently sitting in government are going to they're going to lose their seats.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So in order to maintain power, what I said originally is that, Trump or Vance or Roberts or whoever is going to be making an announcement in 2026 that, you know what, yes, we've got information that, you know, there were areas of the country where, you know, voting machines were targeted and so on and so forth. So yeah, we can't really rely on that. So we're investigating, and until further notice, until we figure out what happened and who was involved, we're not having elections because we can't trust that they're going to be honest.
Well, the previous election for 2024 was not, you know, and there is people looking into that. They have those results. They have shown them to the people that matter, and that is one of the things that will come up when we're talking about
Yeah.
uh, removing this person from the White House. So
Yeah.
it's just that's in my thinking, from what I get from spirit, that is not the thing that necessarily takes him out. Uh, his connection with Russia and Putin is way, way, way too squirrely. I mean,
Yeah.
there's stuff going on there. And this manipulation with the money and the crypto and the stocks and bonds and all of these things, just so underhanded, so crooked. Um,
Yes.
that these are the kind of thing, you know, it's building, building, building. So all the Republicans that were going along with him, like Marjorie Taylor Greene or whatever her name
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
she, you know, she bought into a bunch of stocks. She made her millions right overnight. Um,
Yes.
you know, and we also already know that Eric and Donald Jr. And probably Ivanka, they're all putting their money into the crypto thing, and
Oh,
that's making money. And
okay.
apparently, it's making a lot of money for Trump. So it just feels like he's riding this wave, and he is doing just so wonderful. And he, you know, their approach is lie, 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 stick to the lies. That's what they've
Yep.
always done, and it works.
Yep.
Um, but when the thing falls apart and all the lies are exposed and all these other people are exposed,
Yes.
now we have a situation that's going to be very, very interesting. It's like when you try to corner all the rats, put them in one corner and try to keep them there.
Exactly.
I mean, they just start screaming and scattering,
And
and
yes,
that's
and that's when they start turning on each other,
yeah, exactly.
right?
Because yeah, they
So
want to save their asses. Uh,
exactly.
but
Exactly. So yeah.
they think right now they're totally protected because they see what Trump's pulling off. You know, and
Mhm.
he's even got some people you know, people, normal people, or people that you think would be normal, that have a lot of money, that are looking around like, well, look what Trump's doing. He's done more in 100 days than presidents have done in ever or something. And I'm
Oh,
thinking, yeah, he's done more damage in all that.
exactly.
And
Yeah.
so, you know, the people that are especially the Democrats, they know what's wrong here. They know what's going wrong. They're working to figure out
Yeah.
how to turn this around and when to turn it. It's just the timing is very, very
Yes.
important here, because if you nail just one person, that's not the point. It's
Yeah.
like a drug dealer. You don't really want to run out and get
Yeah.
all the dealers. You want to get to the source, the main kingpin of the drugs. And so that's the same thing. They want to get to the main source of the problem, Trump and Putin and Musk. I mean, all of a sudden, Musk is fading into the background because he's,
Yes.
you know, because they kind of want to get rid of him. Well, he caused so much trouble and fooling around with the Social Security, fooling around with the computers that operate that whole thing. It's just
Yeah.
screwing things up. But they're trying, you know, if you see how quickly one thing happens and then all of a sudden it gets real quiet, and now we're off into something else. You know, now our big thing is all these immigrants. It's just disgusting that they are taking human beings and just putting them on a plane and taking them to some prison when
Yeah.
they haven't done anything wrong. You know,
Exactly.
there may be some people in there that did something wrong, but they didn't get to tell their side of the story.
Yeah.
And what is this latest thing with Alcatraz? I mean,
Yes.
What is he doing
Yes, yes, yeah. He's going to reopen. He's already told the I think it was the FBI or the Department of Defense or whatever. He's already told him that he wants Alcatraz opened. Okay. And yeah, he can absolutely open it because then he can jail some of the people that he can't send abroad because there's too many people are watching now. Well, maybe he can just put them in Alcatraz. Okay, you know what? Let's take a look at that. The You're going to open Alcatraz. Perfect. Perfect. Open it up tomorrow. Oh, it's not hooked up to power. You have to rehook up the power. Okay. All right. You may need to relook at the plumbing. How are you, because it's an island, everything has to be brought in. So you got to bring in all the, you know, all the beds, all the cutlery, all the food, all the this and this and this. You think that's going to take what, a day, 2 days? No, that's a long process to get that done. He's not going to be alive. If he says he wants Alcatraz open, he's not going to be alive when that happens, if that happens. Right? So, yeah.
I don't know how Alcatraz has been closed, but I mean,
Yes.
and how, I don't know how many people it holds.
Yeah.
It just seemed to me like, I don't know. I mean, he just keeps trying to come up with things that are just that don't make a lot of sense. You know, trying to make this thing work again. You just put people in, they're already doing it, putting them in terrible, terrible conditions of, they're not being fed right, they're not being clothed right, they're not being properly taken care of. I mean, they're still human beings.
Yes.
And a lot of them are, just because they come from another country doesn't make them illegals. Some of these people are totally not illegal. But
I think most Native Americans and most of the indigenous population in Canada would probably, look at most Americans and say, you're illegal. You came over. I don't care when you came over, but you came over and you took over. You tried to take something that belongs to us. This is our heritage. So, yeah, you want to talk about go back to your country? You get on it. Go back to your country. Go back to where you came from, because it wasn't here.
Well, so now he wants to give everybody, well, most people, offered them $1,000 to get a plane ticket, I guess, to go home, wherever that is. And I'm thinking, well, why are you doing this now? Why didn't you think of this before? That sounds a lot better than just rounding people up randomly. And now he's basically saying, I want you to voluntarily leave the country.
Yeah.
I'll give you some money so you can get to where you're going. Not a bad idea, but it sure, who in the hell is going to trust that now? Anybody?
Exactly.
You'd be scared to death to say, yeah, I'll do that. Oh, you would? Well, wait, why don't we just arrest you first?
Yes. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, exactly.
The way he has handled this whole thing with the immigration thing, Biden was doing a good job. And I'm Trump and all his, the people that support him are saying, gee, Biden did just such a horrible, this open border. What Biden did was try to make it a humanitarian effort to help people to get either become legal, to a little more organized, a little more together. And it had reduced the number of people coming across the border. I don't know what's going on right now. I don't think is anybody going to come across the border, which would make Trump look like, see, success. Nobody wants to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I brought the number down to 0. Yeah, it's because you know what, you're taking people who have been living by the rules, who have been following the rules, who have shown up for their appointments, who are now being arrested when they show up for their appointments with ICE, who are being separated from their families. You know, yeah, it's not good. This is not going to it's not going to work out well. It really honestly isn't. But yeah. Anyway, you know what? I would I would love to carry this conversation on further, but I know that you've got a deadline, and I actually have to start preparing because I'm being interviewed um, at 9 p.m. my time. So I want, freshen up, make sure that I look good and all that kind of good stuff. So I'll keep you guys informed about
Who's
about when
interviewing you? Is this a live thing?
is it sorry?
Who's interviewing, and is this a live thing?
No, it's going to be recorded, and it's a lovely lady named Evelyn. She is her channel is called Life After Life. She's out of Vietnam, and yeah, she's interviewed Linda G, Marianne, Revealing Light. She interviewed Mel Dore, Arthur, David, Tarot by the Bay, Sherry, Voices from the Swamp, and I think that
Wow.
there's probably a few others. But anyway, yeah, she
You're
got in touch with me
good
last.
company. Oh boy, you're
Hey,
in demand there, Marina. So
yes,
we'll look forward to seeing that. Uh,
yes. So I will definitely keep you guys. Oh, thank you, Old Silver. Yes, it's the NDE channel. Yeah, so I'll let you know how it goes and what happens, and yeah, and when it drops, I'll let you know where you can go to watch it and all that good stuff. But so
so
thank
I
you.
hope we answered some questions for everybody today, and
Yes.
I'm just so glad you guys showed up. We're
Yeah.
kind of depend on input
Mhm.
from the chatters because you guys
Yes,
are more informed.
absolutely.
I got my head in the clouds talking with spirit. Now, and you guys are down here in reality looking at the news and what the hell's going on. But yeah, and for the people that are so concerned about timing on this, just try to chill out for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to have hard times. It's going to get crazy.
Yeah.
The tariffs are now starting to close in on us, and the economy
Mhm.
potentially could become really, really a struggle for everybody. But in the end, and I'm talking about sometime this year, and I'm hoping like in summertime we'll actually know more, and maybe we'll be closer to it. But by the end of the year, I think we're going to be sitting in a different
Yeah.
position. I hope and pray that I'm right about that. And anyway, thanks for everybody that came today.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Don't forget again, like, share, and subscribe to both the channels. And we'll see you guys in 2 weeks' time. We'll see you on the 19th. And yeah, Cleo, always love doing this with you. So yeah, we'll see you guys later. Have a great rest of the evening. All
Yes.
right. Take care. Bye for now.
Bye bye.